I release my muscle, and my whole body's connected now, but he's still strong. I release my fascia, everything sinks down, it all hangs out. Now I can use my song and see that's a different feel than before, right? So he's heavy, he's rooted and grounded. I release my heaviness down, and the lightness comes, I give it to him, so now he's light, and it's easy for me to move him at that point. Now, I let my mind drift out of my body around us, into the space about us, to the domain around me, and from there, see, the energy goes. How does that feel different from before? Yeah, so there's a step beyond E-mastery that we practice at the Phoenix Mountain Tai Chi. All right, we're gonna have this really deep discussion today about the real nature, the total essence of song, because everyone talks about song in Tai Chi, and everyone makes improvements in their song, but it's actually a way deeper rabbit hole than even you realize, as much as you like digging rabbit holes. Huh. So we understand song is to relax. And if you've taken my courses, then you know that song also means to release. And what it is though, is that people think of song as a state that you are in, meaning you are now relaxed, an adjective, a state, okay? And it is. The Tai Chi's goal is to be ultimately song. But what does that mean to you?
In the realm of like everydayness, or in the
any way you want to answer right now.
For like, simplicity's sake, in Tai Chi Chuan, I could tell where if I'm not song relaxed, I'm holding tension somewhere in my body.
Holding tension somewhere, yeah. And then so you want to be past that.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's definitely going towards a state of song. And it's just that this rabbit hole song goes deeper than that. So song is both an attainment, a state, and also a action, right? So if I say boxing is about punching, okay, punching, right? Then you say, okay, I got it. You punch him, and don't get punched, and you punch him. Well, boxing is more than that. There's different kinds of punches, and each one have their different thing. And the rabbit hole, how to punch, keeps going for them. Rabbit hole, how to song keeps going for us. So what are we doing? What are we releasing? That's the question, is that song, you are releasing different things as you deepen your Tai Chi skill. So the most apparent, most obvious thing to release when you first start practicing song is muscle tension. It's like, okay, muscle tension. I am tense in my shoulders. I release that tension and my shoulders relax down. I'm tense in my stomach and back. I release that tension and that goes down. And so that is releasing tension. That's the most obvious thing. What's the next thing we release after muscle tension?
The mind.
Ooh, that's where you're going to, but you skipped one.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fascia.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the difference between releasing muscle tension and releasing fascia, muscle tension is here, I'm tense, and then now I'm relaxed. Tense, relax, right? And fascia, I'm relaxing even more than the muscles. Like I like to say, is when you let it all hang out. So you're holding your gut in. When you let it all hang out, then something beyond the muscle relaxes and your gut hangs up. And also internally, it's like if you're thinking, or if you're kind of nervous, you might be holding your guts in, and then you let your guts sink down like that. Because your organs are held by a net of fascia. They're like on little hammocks all through your body. And when those hammocks release, then everything sinks downward, your weight can go down. So when you release muscle tension, then your body doesn't actually go down unless your body was up, then it'll go down. But when you release your fascia, then there's a sense of downward sinkingness, and you can start to feel that now, right? Mm-hmm. So that downward sinkingness is the next stage of song. Oh, and I want to say that song is a process of giving and receiving, or giving up and receiving in return. Or as I said in another course, I said it's like paying the closing fees and receiving a loan. So you're like, what are you talking about? Okay, well, let me get a little practical. So let's go like this. Hands face me. So if you tense up your arm, squeeze your fists, and you try and push me, right? Push. It's difficult, right? Let's trade roles. I'll do it. So you resist me? Yeah. So if I tense my arm and shoulder and pushing him, I'm not going anywhere because he's strong, right? If I relax my arm and shoulder, then now I can now feel my legs, and my legs can push. And if my legs are stronger than his, right, then then I'll be able to gradually push him over. Or our legs are pretty comparable. But when you let go of the muscle tension in your arms and your shoulder and your upper body, when you release that, what do you get back? The strength of your whole body working together. If I'm overly tense in my arm, okay, and I try to tense my leg, they're both tensing, but they're not connecting. So when you release muscle tension, you receive back that connection and the strength of your whole body working together. That's what we call 整静, integrated power, when the whole body moves together. And that's not difficult to do, right? So what do you get when you release the fascia?
You get the mind.
You're jumping a step
No,
again.
chi, energy.
you get the song.
You get this. Okay.
Yeah, you get the what we call the song, the expanding feeling in the body. So you can think of it, each stage has a yin and yang. So when you release the li, when you release muscle tension, you get the whole body strength. You get the jin. Okay? When you release the fascia, then you get song. And that's why song is a mastery course that follows the fascia. So you're resisting me again like this, okay? So here I release my muscle and my whole body's connected now, but he's still strong. I release my fascia, everything sinks down, it all hangs out. Now I can use my song and see that's a different feel than before, right?
Yes.
So when you release your fascia and you let that sink down, you get your song back. But you might be wondering, well, what is it that you get back exactly? What magical capacity moved Mo just now? So when you release your fascia and it starts to sink down, and do this with me just internally, and you guys can too. So when you take the tension inside your body and let it go, release the tension and it'll all hang out and all sink down to the ground. Once it goes down to the ground, it all go down to the ground. Then when it touches the ground, you now have a root. And once you have root, what does a root do? But it draws in water, nutrient from the earth, right? So once you have connection with the earth, then something comes up, especially on the outside of your body. And that sense of upwardness, supportedness that comes up from the ground is what we start to call peng in a simple context. So song goes down and then peng rises. And that's the basis of qi. What rises up is really the yang aspect of qi, the qi that floats and expands. So go like this with your hands again. So here I am, I'm pushing into you, right? So I'm going nowhere, so I relax, I sunk down, let go of my fascia, and my weight, it goes down to the ground. And when it goes to the ground, then something comes up, and then now it's easy for me to move them. So you release downwards your weight to the ground. How does it actually go into the ground? It doesn't, because your body is still here, right? The force goes. And what you get when you release your everything downwards is you start to feel a sense of heaviness in your body, right? The heaviness is a quality. It's a quality that you experience, a quality of heaviness versus lightness. So what you're letting is that quality of heaviness go down. And when you release heaviness, when you let go of the heaviness, then that's when you get back the lightness that comes up. The lightness that comes up, yes, comes up through your body into them, and they become light. So come again, his hand. So he's heavy, he's rooted and grounded. I release my heaviness down, and the lightness come up, I give it to him. So now he's light, and it's easy for me to move him at that point. Does that make sense? Does that make sense for everyone listening to far? So I release and I give away my heaviness to get back the lightness. So now I feel this lightness, and this heaviness and this lightness is the yin quality of qi and the yang quality of qi. So somewhere along this process of this discussion, you've already went from song to feel qi, yin and yang. And when you have yin going down and yang going up, what is happening is yin and yang is moving apart. So qi, the original qi of the Tao, is just a gray ball, a ball of gray. And yin and yang, one is white and one is black. When the white and black separates, the gray becomes white and black parts. And when it separates, you get a Tai Chi symbol. Does that make sense? So the Tai Chi symbol is a representation of the separation of yin and yang. And the name Tai Chi means extreme ultimate or really extreme poles, meaning the yin and yang are separated. It is not together like this, it is apart. Egg white, egg yolk, it separates. Does that make sense? So the ability to separate the yin and yang and manipulate them is the essence of Tai Chi. And once you have that, then you can now create Peng, Li, Qi, An, these kind of energies in your body, and so forth. So let's review and rewind from the beginning real quick. So first from Li, from muscle tension, you release localized tension to receive the whole body's connection. You release the tension in your fascia so that you can let the weight sink down. When you release that, you gain the awareness of the heaviness. You release, you song the heaviness into the ground to get the yang flowing up back. So in each one, we've sung something. You sung the Li, the muscle force. You sung the fascia. You sung the yin, heaviness. Does that make sense? So we're now in Qi mastery, the third stage. We sung the yin heaviness to receive back the yang lightness. Next stage is Neijin mastery, in which you learn to manipulate the qi, the ling qi in the air around us to cause someone else to move. So what are we releasing in this one?
I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, this is usually the tricky part. So what happens is once you feel the yin and yang, you're now aware of energy in your body. You release the awareness of energy in your body and let your awareness wander off outwards. It's like sitting in class, geography class, world history class, whatever, something super boring, right? And you're sitting there, and then your mind just wanders off. And then where are you? Anywhere but here, right? It's like that. So because with each release, your mind becomes more free. At first, your muscle tension occupies your mind and you're just right here. If you're pushing me, right? And we're like, oh, my mind's stuck in the tension. I release the tension, my mind becomes free, and I remember, oh, I have my whole body. My body is strong, right? And then he resists with his whole body. So that's not enough. I release my fascia. I feel my yin, I release that, and have my yang, and now it's really easy to move him. So with each thing I release, my mind becomes free to discover the next thing, doesn't it? So now I release the yin and yang in my body completely, and my awareness can now drift outwards and be aware of out here. They're connected because they're both qi. The qi in your body and the qi around us. The bodily qi and the spiritual qi around us, they're connected. How are they connected? Like taste and smell. So taste and smell is connected. If you ever lost your sense of smell from some infection or another, then you know that food was a lot tasty for some amount of time, right? So they're very linked. And when you eat food, you become aware of the way they smell. And then it becomes linked. So later when you smell the food, when you smell the cinnamon bun, fresh coffee, you could just imagine how that would taste. They're very closely linked. So once you know the taste of yin in your body, the taste of yang, the taste of energy in your body, you start to have an intuition for the smell of energy, right? And the smell of energy is a little more ephemeral, but it's totally real, totally tangible. And it's like that with food, because when you taste food, you have taste molecules on your taste buds, on your body, and they're solid molecules, right? But when you smell something, it's aerosol molecules touching your nose. So it's a little more ephemeral, but it's just as real, just as tangible. So you release your awareness outwards, all around you. And as you do so, you become aware of the smell of energy around you, and that is the awareness of the Ling Qi around us, that for you to begin to work with that. So give me your hand again. So we're pushing here, right? Resist, resist, resist. So here, and then so previously I yin down, I yang up, I float him, I move him. So that's what we did previously. Now I let my mind drift out of my body around us into the space about us, to the domain around me, and from there, see, the energy goes. How does that feel different from before?
Before, there was like almost what you described is that the sinking energy. Mm-hmm. But when you pushed me just now, it was outside of you.
Yeah.
My energy didn't penetrate or go in There was no sinking feeling.
No sinking feeling. If you watch him really carefully, let's start. So I'm going to do the bodily chi, yin and yang. So here's resisting me, right? Watch his feet, watch his shoulders real closely. So I sink down and the yang comes up. You see that change in his body? And that's when the yang chi has affected him and made him lose his root. Now come again. Now watch his feet and shoulder really carefully this time, okay? So my mind drifts outwards and goes. There was no moment in which he went like this before going back. The Ling Chi, the Neijin, just took you and sent you back. That was a G energy, essentially. So it bypasses that process. But anyways, going back to what the essential was saying, I am now sowing and releasing my awareness out of my body. I'm letting go of the bodily awareness to go outwards to experience the energy on the outside. Does that make sense? So by releasing that awareness, we get back that. So what is the next mastery? It is E-mastery. What do we release in E-mastery? What are we sowing away now?
In the mind, is this correct? No, it is. Okay, finally. I'm stuck
Yes.
on the mind, okay? Jedi tricks.
You know, it's a clock, right? It's like any clock will be right at some point in the day. So he just keeps saying mine. And if we're talking about everything, we're gonna get there. Well, he's gonna be right sooner or later. It's okay. Mo just really advanced, and he can't come back from the advanced world anymore. So yes. So in Neijin, we release the awareness of our body to gain awareness of the energy around us. In E, we release our mind. What does that mean? Does that mean we go, woo? No, here I'll show you. So, Chris, you're pushing me like this? Oh, let's just do one hand. So he's pushing me here. Pushing to me, trying to push me over. So here we're tensing like this, and I want to stop him. I don't want to get pushed back. I don't want to look stupid on this video. All these thoughts are in my head, right? So I'm going to release all those thoughts I have. Push. So my thoughts, I release all those things. My questions, what should I do? What am I doing? I release those questions. My anxieties, my doubts, my fears, I release those things. My desire to be comfortable and all that, I release all those things. I release all those active and passive elements in my thoughts. And then when I release all those, what do I get? Awareness of his intention, okay? So, come again, push me. So here, if I have a bunch of intentions, stop him, don't get pushed back, don't look stupid, speak coherently, okay? All this is in my head, and I'm not really realizing what he's doing besides that I'm being pushed over. When I release all of it, I gain awareness. And when I'm aware of his intention, I can manipulate that, see? Very, 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 very simple in terms of just what I'm saying, just releasing, but it's tricky because we all have thoughts that want to get at us. So I said before that it's like a conversation. If I keep thinking about what I want to say, I won't be very good at hearing what he wants to say. And if I don't hear what he wants to say, and when he wants to say something, I'll have very little chance of convincing him of anything or swaying his opinion in any way. Does that make sense? So push me. So first, I song away my thoughts. I song away my questions, my fears, my doubts, my anxiety. When I let go of all those, I can now feel he's pushing me through a certain point in his head, with a focal point. That's what we call dian. I take that point. That's what we're talking about. That's what you want to talk about. And let's talk about it like this. And he goes back, just like that. So that is the skill of e-mastery, of releasing your internal dialogue and all those things to be able to perceive their intention. And once you can perceive their intention, you can then influence it. So yin, yang, I release the yin to gain control of the yang, right? I release my awareness of Bali Chi to gain control of the Neijin. I release my intentions to become aware of and begin to control your intention. And that is e-mastery in terms of what are we releasing. Does that make sense? So that is each step of the song. What are we really doing in each level is we are sowing something away. to gain something back from fascia, song, qi, Neijin, to finally e-mastery. Does that make sense? Any questions at the moment?
So it's letting go of everything and just being receptive. That's what it seems like. You're just
Yes.
letting it all go. There's
Yeah.
no fight, and you're just observing.
Yeah, no fight, just observing and receptive. And when you are receptive and no fight and observing, then you will have real awareness. And what you're really growing in your Tai Chi training is you're enhancing your awareness to more and more subtle things. So I talk about taste and smell, right? So like Li, muscle force, is like, we have food. I like food, so we're gonna talk about food. So it's like, how heavy is this food? Yeah, this is a heavy burrito. This is gonna be delicious. So that's the most apparent thing, right? And then the next one, like the fascia, that's like the texture. That is a good texture, pizza crust or whatever the case may be. Then we go to the taste, then the smell, and just gets more and more ephemeral. What will be equivalent to E? So what is even more ephemeral than smell? Actually, the sight of it, the look of it, because that's just like a photon. It's not even like an olfactory molecule. So if we really want to continue this food analogy, that's what it would be. So I see the food, I can imagine how it'll taste it, and so forth.
So this is like a idea that I kind of rattles in my brain, is that
Yeah.
fascia, like when you look at Dr. Mei Wan Ho's work, she's since passed. She wrote a book about looking at the photonic structure and the crystalline structure, living crystals in fascia. And I think that what she found was that there was living light that was transmitted.
Oh.
Almost like
a fiber optics.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there's phonons, living vibration or sound
Wow.
in these structures. So I think that maybe we're decluttering the
Yeah,
fiber optics.
decluttering. Yeah.
Right? Making the crystalline structure clear.
Yeah.
And I think that this is part of that. And then
Decluttering. Yeah.
and then when you're observing maybe, the Heisenberg principle of yin yang,
Yeah.
in different words, particle and wave.
Particle wave duality. Yes.
Maybe that collapses.
Yes.
And then you get the yin yang.
Yes.
And that's where you can affect, by letting go, the access point of everything.
Yes. That's
So
correct.
everything is coming at you
Everything coming at you.
by letting go.
By letting go. Yeah. When you let go, you gain access
Yeah,
to
it's so
that
trippy.
next thing. Yeah. And yeah, decluttering is a good term. We're decluttering from the most obvious. When you declutter, you put away the messiest, biggest things, and then you keep refining until you have your very zen minimalist home that is working just the way you want to and capable of whatever you want to do.
So yeah, I wonder if it's an access point for conscious creation itself, maybe overriding programs.
Yeah, so there's a step beyond e-mastery that we practice at the Phoenix Mountain Tai Chi that is not officially a part of the Tai Chi that I've learned. But so what can you release next after you release your mind, as you said?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Yes, someone said self. You release
Okay.
yourself. What does it
Okay.
mean to release yourself? You release your identity, your ego, the substance and being of what you are. So when you release those things, then you become closer to the Tao. Because when you're busy with yourself, then you will miss the Tao. You will be further from God, as some religions would say. And to be closer to the divine or closer to the Tao, you have to release from yourself. Now, this is not something you just jump in and do. Okay, you actually in Taoism is heaven, men, earth. Some religions are heaven, heaven, heaven. Like Buddhism, Hinduism, and stuff like. You just want to leave earth, leave men, just to be in nirvana, enlightenment, and stuff like that. Taoism is about living here, well, living a good life, impactful, meaningful, beneficial to people, like that. And so we don't want to just jump like that. So you don't release yourself recklessly. you have to anchor yourself. You have to be rooted in your life, and you want to have a genuine and deep love for life itself. Not specifically your life, but life. Like you think that life is precious, life is beautiful, in all its different ways. Sometimes someone is crying over there, and there's beauty in that, in what they're going through and what they will experience in their life. And sometimes it's happy, sometimes it's silly, nonsensical things, but all of it is beautiful in its own way. When you can have that belief that life is beautiful, then you can release yourself but maintain life. The opposite is like Buddhism says life is suffering. So if you hold that thought and release yourself, then you will disincarnate, or whatever the word may be. So before you endeavor to release yourself, you want to know yourself and to love life. And when you love life and you know yourself, meaning you know what is your purpose, what is your function, what you can do, then you can stay here and be impactful and helpful to life. And that would be nice, right? So that would be the next step. And then when you release yourself and have that, then you become closer to the Tao. You'll flow with the Tao, one with the force, and be more powerful, more impactful, more your true self. So that is the next step beyond the e-mastery. Interesting?
It's like God incarnate.
Not quite God incarnate. God's outside of the reality, but blessed by, perhaps.
Like if you dissolve into
Like a saint,
everything,
I suppose.
You become everything and nothing at the same time.
Yeah. Well, then you would not be here. So, but if you're here, then like a saint, like the Dalai Lama, someone that is got genuine good energy infused in their actions and in their intentions, and making a good impact on the lives and the world around them. So that's song going all the way to the bottom of the rabbit hole to pop out the very top, the very highest state of being. So it's quite a rabbit hole, isn't it?
Yes.
Any questions?
Nothing that can
Processing still.
come to mind.
Thank you so much for joining me on this
thank you.
discussion, and thank you for listening to this whole talk. See you next time.